السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم يسقون من رحيق مختوم ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم على الأرائك ينظرون إن الأبرار لفي نعيم على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم يسقون من رحيق مختوم ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس
ومزاجه من تسنيم عينا يشرب بها المقربون. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى. وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى. وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى. وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى. ألم يجدك يتيما ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى. فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث.
الله ما شاء الله. اللهم افتح.
وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. بسم
أحسنت يا أستاذ.
قل هو الله أحد.
سبحان الله.
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد الله الصمد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد الله الصمد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
ما شاء الله.
لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله. عليك تكبير. عليك رسالة. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. المفتاح عليك.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My throat's tired. I hope yours ain't. Hazrat Allama Imam Asim Hussain Al-Karami and all my dear Muslim brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I personally congratulate everybody here for attending in a gathering that is full of youngsters. And I've never seen this in my life before. I've never witnessed a masjid full of youngsters, apart from a few old folks. The topic that I've been given to me to talk about is about the Quran. I'm not going to take time, I only got 10 minutes. Allah Ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. If we had revealed this knowledge, this dhikr, this Quran, upon the mountain would have shattered. So now we need to understand what is a mountain. The mountains, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, are pins that hold the land, the earth down. Scientists today are proving that they are indeed the pins that hold land down. So Allah Ta'ala is saying such a powerful object, such a powerful thing, the mountains will shatter with the Quran if it was revealed upon it. And subhanAllah, who would be revealed upon the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. With the Quran, before the Quran, I want to mention one little thing, and I'll mention two things about the Quran, and I'll take leave. The first thing is that does anybody here know their father's name and their age, their birthday, their job, and their habits and their hobbies? Anybody? Everybody does. Does everybody here know their grandfathers?
Maybe.
Okay. What about their great-grandfathers? Anybody here knows the name? Do you know your great-grandfather's name? You don't. The one above, his father, his father, his father, his father. If you're a Sayyid, or you're from the Prophet's family, or the Ulama's family, then you would. If not, we don't know who our father's grandfather, or our grandfather's grandfather was. Nobody does here. I don't either. I'm 5 generations up, and we were all peoples of land, farmers. That's all I know. The hobbies, I don't know. The shameful thing here is, none of us actually remember them either. We don't think about them, we don't remember them. We don't send salam for them, we don't read Quran for them, we don't do nothing for them. Yet, if it wasn't for them, you and I would not be here today. Yeah? We don't think about our forefathers, 100, 200, 300 years ago, who they were. And the reality and the fact is that when we die, our great-grandchildren, their grandchildren won't even recognize or remember us. So Allah Ta'ala, for this, has given, if the organizers could open the door, the brothers sat by the doors, they could open the door for fresh air. Oh, the AC up. So now, the only thing that Allah Ta'ala has brought towards us for guidance is the Quran. With this Quran, Allah Ta'ala has given a certain scenario, a certain things around it that could benefit us. For example, I today recited the Quran. Everybody that listened, you got more thawab than I did. More than I did. I got little compared to you. On top of that, I also give salawat to my teacher who taught me, his teacher, his teacher, his teacher, his teacher, his teacher, back to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So my brothers, the only way when we leave this dunya, when we leave this world, the only thing that will benefit us is the Quran and nothing else. If you think that your business or your lifestyle is going to help you, it won't. If you think it's your brothers or your brethren who are going to help you, they won't. Nobody will. The day of judgment, Allah Ta'ala mentions that the brother will not recognize the brother. The father won't recognize the children won't recognize the father. The mother won't recognize the daughter won't recognize the mother. So on that day, the only thing that will count for is what you've done. And the Quran itself is not something that's so difficult or so heavy to carry or so hard to memorize. Quran is such a beautiful thing. We sing songs, and today I've deliberately tried to do different maqamat, different nazma, music, different ways and method of melody in reciting the Quran. Just the way we speak is a maqam, same way in the Quran there's a maqam. So you have the sabah, you recite it when you're sad, like you recite it when you're sad. When you're happy, you can recite in that one, which is a happy melody. You can recite in Hijaz, which is a happy melody, for example. إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر. Maqam Hijaz. So Quran is not something that you and I, the ones who are more modern or the youngsters, will get bored of. Quran is not a book that will bore you. Quran, when you recite it, there's so much melody, there's so much pain and happiness in the Quran that it is amazing. It's a shame that nowadays we disregard the Quran, we bring the Qari in for 2 minutes to recite, and Assalamu alaikum, bye-bye. And then we have the Imam for an hour. But this is the culture that we've come into. Quran has been forgotten. Not Quran, So Nafghans will praise the Prophet, which is a brilliant thing. I'm not against Nafghans. I've never been to a masjid in Victoria Park Mosque, but I'm not against Nafghans. I sing dance in Arabic. I sing qasa'id also. But the thing is, what you have to remember, the biggest praise of the Prophet ﷺ is the Quran. The biggest Imam or a lecture or a talk, a book to read for Hidayat is the Quran. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. That this is that book that is no doubt, and in it is guidance for the muttaqeen, the pious people. So the biggest guidance you're going to get is the Quran. The ulama will teach you the Quran. The ulama will teach you the love of the Quran. The Qari will teach you how to recite the Quran. And then you complete. Not is also in the Quran, the praise of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here, what we have to remember, that we have to create a link, a nisbah with the Quran. And that is the only thing that's going to benefit you in the akhirah. Yes, there's sadaqah, yes, there's other good deeds that you could do. But the main thing is the Quran. 2 or 3 hadiths I quickly mention, my time's up. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The best amongst you is he who learns the Quran, then teaches to others, then teaches others. That's the best job you can have. There's no job out there, doctor, lawyer, engineer, sorry, see you later. The best job is the Quran. Seek the Quran, learn the Quran, and then teach others. And nobody's too old or too young to learn the Quran. Nobody is. The Sahaba, the Prophet was 40 years old, and then the Quran started coming down in Revelation. At the age of 40, Abu Bakr Siddiq was older, other Sahabas were older. They started learning at the latter half of their life, not when they were children. There were few that were lucky, like Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain, Sayyidina Ali, radiallahu anhum. There were few that were lucky in the later life. So nobody is, they say in Arabic, nobody is brain so thick that they can't learn the Quran. Nobody. It's impossible. Quran is such a beautiful thing, a beautiful, the kalam of Allah that will help and benefit every single individual. Another hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man lam yatavarna bil Quran, falaysa minna." Different riwayah, falaysa minna man lam yatavarna bil Quran, which means he whoever doesn't sing the Quran. Brothers, he who does not sing the Quran, he is not from amongst us. Think about the meaning. He who does not sing the Quran, man lam yatavanna bil Quran, falaysa minna, he's not from amongst us. So, but the singing the Quran in recitation and art of recitation is also very important, and everybody should. My phone's over here.
That's fine.
So everybody should recite the Quran in melody and practice the Quran, and not to forget the tajweed and the correct recitation of the Quran. May Allah Ta'ala accept my short visit and a long drive, and may Allah Ta'ala accept the hard work of Hazrat Allama, Imam Asim, Hussain al-Qari, the great work they've done here in Manchester and around Europe as well, in Bradford especially. If everyone would join in and read the Darud Sharif. Sallallahu alayhi ya Rasulullah, wa sallam alayka ya Habiballah. Sallallahu alayka ya خير الخلق كلهم
حين محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا ربي بالمصطفى يا ربي بالمصطفى يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مدى وسع الكرم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
Remember me in your praise, inshallah.
عليه تكبير عليه رسالة عليه رسالة.
There was a builder, my brothers and sisters, who was renowned for the work that he does. He was very well versed in his work, and what he used to do was build homes. And he'd been doing this for a number of years, and he received recognition through awards, through prizes, through praise. And it was an art. He used to build homes, and they were of the very high standard. What happened is he came towards the end of his employment, and he went to see his employer. And he said, I'm going to now, this is my notice to you. I've done many years of hard work. This is my notice of leave. And his employer said to him, before you leave, do me one last favor. Before you leave, do me one last favor. Build one last home as a favor for me, and then you can go and enjoy your retirement. And because he was a good worker, he was a loyal worker, he agreed to do this last favor for his employer and build him a last home. So what he does is he starts on this final project that he was given by his employer, and he starts to work. And whilst he's doing that work, the shaitan gets the better of him, and he starts to think to himself. He starts to say, well, had I not agreed to do this last favor, I could have been around the world, touring the world, enjoying my employment. So what does he do? He starts to take corners. He starts to cook corners. So a few cook corners here, a few cook corners there. And why? Because he's thinking ahead. Had I not done this favor, I would have been away around half of the world enjoying my employment. And what he did is he did not maintain the high standard that he had throughout his employment. And what he did is he cut corners, and his project came to an end. And he went back to his employer and he said, I've done your last favor for you. Grant me leave now. I can go back and enjoy my retirement. And his employer, before he was going to send him away, he said, put your hand out. And I want you to listen to this very carefully. Uncle's going to open the doors, that's fine, that's for our benefit, but try and pay attention here. He said, put your hand out, and he did. And he handed them the keys to the house and he said, this is my gift to you. This is my gift to you. You worked so hard, and you were such a loyal employee. This is my gift to you. Now, brothers and sisters, just think for a few moments the regret that man must have felt when he heard that this house was a gift for me, but because he was thinking ahead, the shaitan got the better of him. He tried to cut corners. But had he known that this gift was for him, in the question arises, would he have cut corners? He wouldn't have. Before I turn to Imam, just one final point. This house that the man was building, brothers and sisters, see this as our life. So whatever we do in this dunya, whatever good we do, whatever bad we do, whatever corners we go, when we stand on the day of judgment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the regret and the anguish that we're going to feel is probably going to be 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more than this man had felt. So what we have to do now is, with the month of Ramadan approaching, we have to make sure that we build this house perfectly. Every brick that we lay, every nail that we hit, it goes in its place. Why? Because we please Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين
وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وطبيبنا وطبيب قلوبنا ورحيمنا وكريمنا ورؤوفنا وغوثنا وغياثنا وعيننا وعيوننا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون آمنت بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا نبي الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending infinite salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts, the inspirer to our minds, the awakener of our souls, the most honored one, the most elevated one, the most praised one, and undoubtedly, without a shadow of a doubt, the most beautiful one. None other than Sayyiduna wa Nabiyuna wa Habibuna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa baraka wa sallam. The title of this second Youthway event is Thug Life, Is This the Life You Want? The reason why this title was selected, as many of you will know, that the day and age we live in now, many youngsters are adopting this mentality. Many youngsters are adopting this mentality that is promoted by rap stars. There are rappers who have rapped with lyrics talking about the thug life. For example, ICE, known as Ice Cube. What a funny name. He's a rapper called Ice Cube. He does a song on gangster rap. You have rappers like the notorious B.I.G. Rap stars like 50 Cent and his ex-crew known as G-Unit. I think the G stands for Gangster Unit, I'm not sure. And you see what these rap stars talk about? The thug life. True or not true? They talk about the thug life, how the thug life is. They talk about the street. I was playing football a couple of weeks ago, and I gave, the poster was at that venue. I come out and I said to the brothers, I said, look, we have an event, Thug Life. Come down, brothers, it'll be on a level, something you can relate to. Come down, check it out. He said, bro, I didn't choose the Thug Life. The Thug Life chose me. Really? He said, I didn't choose the Thug Life, but the Thug Life chose me. I was amazed at his reply. That I didn't choose the Thug Life chose me. I didn't choose the street, Imam said, the street chose me. I didn't choose the gangster way chose me. This argument, this reply, is a reply of immature people. When you ask ex-convicts, so-called bad boys of the past, they would have said the same thing. You ask those same people now, who have possibly served sentences in prison for extortion, drugs, gambling. We don't get in prison for gambling, they promote gambling in this country. Money laundering, fraud, all these crimes. Bad boys earning money, quick way, all that mentality that I spoke about in the bad boy talk. You ask those mans, those brothers, those lads who have been there, done that. They will say, Imam Sahib, you're right. That's an immature answer. We've been there, done that. We can't blame the street or Thug Life for choosing that life for us. The bottom line is, it is in your own hands to a certain extent for you to choose what you want. It's up to you. Hazrat, brothers and sisters, you all chose to come here tonight. And ultimately Allah Almighty guided you here tonight. Allah Almighty must have put something in your heart. Your heart must have opened up. And you came here for different intentions. Maybe there are brothers sat here with the intention, I'm interested to hear what this man's going to say. I've never heard it before. Maybe they came here looking for a solution to their problems. Maybe intention is we want to pick faults out in people. Sometimes you find people in the crowd, Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. But they come just to spy and see what does this guy do. True or not true? And I'll be frank and honest about it. There might be people here who are sincerely, genuinely here. And I think 90 to 95%, Allah knows best. Most of us are here for this intention to hear what has to be said about this topic. And the point I was making was this. Allah Ta'ala guiding me and you here tonight. Ultimately the guidance is from Allah and not from Allah. But you made a choice. This life is full of choices. My respected brother Ibrahim, he narrated a story to you. That story is of a carpenter. It's of a person who builds houses. I will go over this story and breaking it down slowly, adding things in there. This guy used to build houses, what we would today deem as a man who buys properties. When he gets to a certain stage, he's known as a property tycoon. Property tycoon, the man's got area of houses. Hundreds of houses on his portfolio. Those of you who are into properties and whose families are into properties, you know. This guy used to build houses. He was a builder. 40, 50 years, this has been his trade. Like we find people in different trades. Some brothers are in the textile trade. Some are in the car industry. Some are into different trades. This is a trade that this builder used to do. He would build houses. And every house that he would build, he would put his 100% effort into it. Utmost attempt. I'm going to make sure I build a good house for the people. Why a good house will bring good money? Halal money, which is fine, acceptable. He worked hard, mehnat, mazduri, this was his work. He was reaching the end of his career, his life, his professional life, and the one above him, the main man who was in part of the building company, he says to him, look, you know what? Before you retire, build one more house. All his life, what has he been doing? Building houses. At least stop there. When you get used to something in your life, that's all you know. We see many of our parents, they might be taxi drivers. That's all they know. Sitting in a taxi cab, taking people from one place to another, they give their fare on tip here. That's all they know. Some people have been running businesses. That's all he knows. That's his work. That's his main trade. Me and you, the young lads here, we're still educating ourselves. Allah Ta'ala give us a long life. My question to you is this. What is your trade? When you get to a point where you've got to take responsibility and become a big boy now, grown up, what is your trade going to be? Is it going to be the gangster thug life way and blame society? The first instance a person, what does he do in his mind and heart? He starts blaming. He won't take responsibility. So true people take responsibility. To take responsibility, you see Shaitan didn't take responsibility. When Allah said to Shaitan, go bow down to Adam, he says no. Allah Ta'ala said, why? He says, I'm better. أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. I'm better. You created me from fire. You made him from clay. My position is greater than your position. He didn't take responsibility, Shaitan. Because he didn't take his responsibility, do what he was asked to do, obey Allah Almighty. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. He was the first man who ever, first creation, who disbelieved, who committed an act of kufr. He disbelieved, and first one who disobeyed Allah. And if you knew, and you know the story of Shaitan and his existence, you will know Shaitan had all the beautiful names. He was known as Abid, Arif, worshipper, Gnostic, all these things. He worked his way up the ladder through his excessive worship Allah. Al-Masawi rahimahullah in his Hashiyah of Tafsir al-Jalalayn, which is one of the famous tafsirs that is taught all around the world in different maktabas and madrasas and centers of knowledge, in different institutes. Tafsir Jalalayn's Hashiyah is Hashiyah Alama Sawi. He narrates in there, mumkin this is Israeliyat riwayah, but Shaitan, 40 years he worshipped Allah in the heavens. So many thousands of years he lived in the heavens. He did tawaf around Al-Baytul Ma'mur for so many hundreds and thousands of years. To the point that Allah appointed him as the leader of the angels. He was the Imam of the angels. When Allah created a Khalifa, deputy, Hazrat, we are deputies on this earth. We are deputies on this earth. Allah Ta'ala created us and sent us to this world as deputies. And the first that He sent was Sayyidina Adam. When Allah created Adam, The second angels go, look at what I made now. Ashraful makhluqat, the human is the best of all creation. The human is the best of all creation. Funny though, isn't it? Angels are made from nur, light, and they never disobey Allah. But Allah didn't say angels are the best. Man is made from soil. Me and you are made from the earth. In reality and essence. Allah's given me and you choice. We can do bad and we can do good. Going back to the point of choosing what life we choose. We have that choice. We can choose good or bad, whatever we want. Right now we can make choices. Right now we can do good and bad, both in front of us. And Allah Ta'ala, despite this, has said we are the best creation. Mine and your akal will tell us that no, how can we be the best? When we have the opportunity to disobey, but angels never disobey, they should be the best. Why are the angels the best? Many reasons. Angels don't have a choice. It is greater when you have a choice and you do right. Allah loves that more than those who do good all the time. There was a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Allah Almighty, Habib alayhi salam said, if nobody in this world ever did wrong, if nobody ever committed a sin in this world, then Allah will destroy those people. And Allah Ta'ala will send people to this world who by choice wrong themselves. But remember, by choice they return back to Allah as well. They choose to change. Allah Ta'ala says, I love those people. I love those people who choose to come back to me. To do tawbah. Allah Ta'ala loves people who return to Him. Those who are always doing good. No doubt. Allah loves the people. Inna Allah yuhibbul tawwabin. Allah loves the people who do ruju, tawbah. Allahu Akbar. Shaitan didn't take responsibility. Allah said, you're rejected, gone. Responsibility. He had a choice. Remember, Shaitan is not an angel. Shaitan is a creation made from jinn. He's a jinn made from a smokeless fire. He's made from a smokeless flame, fire. That's Shaitan. He had a choice. If he wanted, he could have obeyed Allah. But he chose to disobey Allah. And Allah has said, the first example I give you, the first example in creation of the one who disobeyed, to the day of judgment he's been rejected. Remember, Shaitan had a time to change as well. When Shaitan came to encounter Musa alayhi salam, he said, Musa, ask Allah, will He ever forgive me? For Allah Ta'ala is most forgiving. Allah Ta'ala said, I'll forgive him on one condition. He goes to Adam alayhi salam's grave and bows down to him. Even after all that, what did he say? If I didn't do it when he was alive, why will I do it now he's gone? Arrogant person. When he was there, I didn't do it, and you want me to go and do it when he's not there and bow down to his grave? No way. I can't do that. Shaitan said, you're rejected. Allah said, you rejected him. Until he doesn't accept his responsibility. Rejected. And what happens today? We don't take responsibility of our own action. But there will be a day when our life will be playing in front of us, and we will have no option but to take responsibility. We can't run away on that day. Brothers and sisters, you can't run on that day. Wherever you will run, Allah will still bring you back and say, answer the question then. Tell me, did you do this? What are you going to say then? What are we going to say then? Because we live in a world of cameras. Speed cameras. Security cameras. iPhone cameras. All camera world. You go into Shell petrol station, there are 5 petrol pumps, but there's 20 cameras watching you. You go into supermarkets, cameras everywhere. He's got a camera, look. It's a camera world. This is the world we live in. Everything's being recorded on the camera. Big Brother is watching me and you. Big Brother is watching. Everything we do is being checked up. These phones are tracked, our cars are tracked, everything's tracked. Don't know where you are, what you are. When I went to Palestine, when we was at the Jordanian, Palestinian border, and we was held there for 9 hours, we were sent back to Jordan. The next day we came back, and 5 hours we waited there. They said, come, we need to interview you. We went in for the interview. Even before they asked me, they had a full, the security, the Israeli security, had all my profile in front of me. So tell me, when was you born? Okay. Where do you live? Okay. What schools did you go to? These. Says, you became an Imam, didn't you? I told him, how do you know I was an Imam? And which madrasa did you study? What are you? Sufi orientated? You Sunni, what are you? I said, I'm Sufi orientated. He said, what tariqah do you follow? Are you Qadri, Naqshbandi, Sorwardi, Shadli? She was saying these to me. She says, I'm a Naqshbandi, Qadri and Chishti. I'm all three. Khilafah from there, Murid over there. Okay. Which madrasa are you a hate preacher? I came out and you know what I thought? You know everything about me. Everything, the whole life. I said, look, you stop there. I will tell you my life story. You tell me if it's right or wrong. You don't ask me, I'll tell you. Seriously, she said, oh, slow down, slow down. I said, this is me, simple. Go on Facebook, you find me there. Go on Twitter there. She goes, put your YouTube on. He says, yeah, man, he's really watching YouTube. Put my YouTube on. Drugs and alcohol. I said, that's the famous one, mother's one, go check it. I said, you better watch it. You made me put it on for you now. She said, no problem. She let me go. The point I'm making, everything about our lives we watch. Ultimately, Allah is watching everything. That's the biggest lesson from all of this. No matter how much we can hide from people, hide from parents, Allah is watching everything. Responsibility. This guy was building this house. Built all the houses, last house, built it. And he thought, you know what, how do you look for building houses? I'm going to cut corners. I'm going to build a house, you know, half window in, bricks, whatever. Quick job, mashallah, move on. Said, he got no problem. House was built. Comes to his boss. Says, look, let me retire now. Building the house, last house. Is the keys taken? He says, no. He says, this is the last house you built. Take the keys. This is your house. You built your own house here. How true? This man built his own house. But every other house he had effort. When it truly mattered, he didn't know. And in life sometimes we don't know when it truly matters. That's why we should always matter. We don't know the future, what's going to happen. Every step we take, once it's taken, every breath that has gone will never come back. Every step, every gone. What's in the past is in the past. Mr. Hanfia said, I'm sick of mad. Yesterday is gone, it's dead. Ghadan lam yulad. Tomorrow might never even come for you. Today, it is going. Every step you take, brothers and sisters, watch it. This man chose to build a house with no effort. And they said, this is your key now, this is your reward. In our life now, if we was to put it against and reflect against this, we do sometimes things that are very good with all our hearts. Most of the time, it is in the wrong way. We go out and we spend money lavishly in the wrong way. We earn money in the wrong way. Brothers and sisters are drinking out there, thinking it's a chip. Brothers and sisters are smoking shisha pens. They are going out and drinking. Party animals. It is sad to see the society the way it is. And the Muslim brothers and sisters in particular. You go on Friday night outside the shisha lounges. And tears will drop from your eyes if you have Iman in your heart to see the state. 4 or 5 dads in one car, 3 or 4 sisters in one car, mixed cars, all running towards the shisha lounge. I'm telling you, these shisha lounges now, my opinion only, they are the equivalent to a halal nightclub. You go inside it, the same layout, styles of, and I've never been to shisha, I don't know. What we see from outside, we see and it's dark and you think, man, what's happening here? For those who own its business, they're going to crack on. But who's losing in the end? We lose. Every time your sister walks out of the house to walk into that shisha lounge, are you happy with it? No one will be happy with that. Nobody. Every time your sister walks out without parda on, and people will look, who's going to be happy with that? And that's the sad reality. We are not caring about our families. Me. That's it. And we're not taking responsibility. On the day of judgment, it's a day of responsibility. You will have to take your responsibility for the choices you made in this world. That key was his choice on life. That house he built is where he's going to stay. We are building houses in the dunya. When are we going to build houses in the akhirah? How many houses are you going to build in the akhirah? How are you going to enter the door of Jannah if you don't have the key? And Nabi alayhi salam said the key to paradise is prayer, namaz. The key to prayer is what? Wudu, ablution. The key to ablution is what? Intention. The key to your intention is what? Knowledge. Knowledge. You know what everything boils down to, in my opinion, why we are in the state we are in as Muslims, because we have lack of knowledge. And what do we term lack of knowledge in Arabic? Jahiliyyah. Ignorance. We lack knowledge about the deen. You see, if we look into Islamic history, what is Islamic history? How many know about their own history? Sad, we know everything about the World Cup, Pakistan international cricket team. We know so much about United, Chelsea, City. We know so much about the La Liga, Premier League, Barcelona, international football teams, Confederation Cup, Champions League, FA Cup. Sad that we know so much about the dunya, cars, what car, which car, how much brake horsepower. We know so much about shisha lounges, so much about Facebook, so much about business. How many people know about Islam? How many of us know about our deen? Like Qari said, how many of us know? Chalo, we don't know as far back as our great-grandfathers. How many of us know about the great founders of our religion? Lack of knowledge, that's the biggest problem that we find in our community. And there are no centers of knowledge. Knowledge is the key. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is life. Al-ilmu noor. Al-ilmu falah. Knowledge is this power. That you see, the first verse of the Quran that came, Allah Ta'ala in the Quran didn't say, read namaz. First verse that ever came upon the Messenger of Allah, when they were in Qirat, Allah Almighty didn't say, go read your namaz, fast in Ramadan, go do Hajj, your parents. Allah Ta'ala didn't say any of this. First verse, this tells you the importance of knowledge. The first thing Allah Almighty said to His Prophet and commanded him, Iqra, read. Read. What is reading? What is reading? Reading is a form of education, a means by which we can educate. Read. Read in the name of your Lord, the one who's created you. Allah Akbar, Allah Ta'ala said to His beloved, "O my beloved, the first revelation I give you is to read. Go and tell the people about the importance of reading, the importance of, in the bigger picture, education, ilm, knowledge." When we find a society, a civilization, a nation that does not give attention to knowledge and gives attention to the dunya, then you find them in the situation that we find ourselves in today. You find yourself in a situation that we find ourselves in the situation that we find ourselves today. That's the reality of it. Why? Because people don't give attention to knowledge. People don't want to learn. I'll tell you, if I did a speech, if I made a poster saying knowledge is key, speech by Imam Asim, Jamia, Masjid, Hanfia, I can honestly tell you with great sadness, half of you won't turn up. You know why? Because you're not interested in hearing that. Today everyone's turned up to hear thug life. Everyone wants to hear what the thug is. True or not true? You can. This is the biggest point that, look at this example itself. This is the biggest example I'm giving you. If I set up a circle or center of knowledge, how many people would come? But if I had a speech on shisha in Islam, I guarantee you everyone would turn up. These are major issues, but minor in reality. Knowledge is the key. What's the biggest solution to thug life? Biggest solution to all these things? Knowledge. Go and find people of knowledge. Sit with these people, learn from them, study from them. For when you see that you want to learn this knowledge, and when they pass on this knowledge to you, what do we find? People know what's right and wrong through this knowledge. But when you find ignorance prevalent everywhere, and what did they say? What did the English say? They said ignorance is bliss. What does bliss mean? It's good. When you don't know, it's happy. Look, we read namaz. Do we know how to read namaz properly? We make wudu. Do we know how to make wudu properly? We have started giving attention, and I'll be very frank and honest, all the dunya related. If there was mahfil in this masjid, mahfil when khans are called from around the world, this masjid will be packed with young people coming to listen. They will come to listen to Naat Khans. I'm telling you, most of you probably don't understand Urdu. Allah Hazrat's Kalam. That's what they recite. But why do you come? Why do we come? Because it's, what is it? You tell me why people come to Mahfil now. What is the answer? Simple. People want entertainment. People want to be entertained today, they don't want to learn. True or not true? When it comes to knowledge, nobody will go there. When it comes to Mahfil, not everyone will go to the masjid. We live in a non-culture world. But Islam is not just that. Some of the greatest men of Allah were men of knowledge. Some of the most powerful men that came were men of knowledge. People like Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, known as Imam Ahl-Sunnah. We need to talk about these people. If I did a talk, my next talk, say in September the 1st, I'm going to do an Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. How many people will turn out? Tell me, I'm asking this question, put your hand up if you will come to listen to that. Everyone's going to put their hand up. How many lads will turn out, and sisters, to learn about Imam Ahmad? Who was Imam Ahmad? What did he achieve? He lived in a time when people believed the Quran was created like me and you. It was a big issue of that time, massive. People started believing the Quran is created, makhluk. Ulama were being persecuted. They were forced to accept and admit that. hukmran and governors of that time would punish the people, punish the ulama, imprison them. Allahu Akbar. Imam Ahmad stood and he said, they asked him, tell me, is the Quran created? And he stood there and said, غير مخلوق. The Quran is not created. How can the word of Allah be created? It's the word of Allah, it's been with it forever. How can it be created? They began to lash Imam Ahmad. They imprisoned Imam Ahmad. They would drag Imam Ahmad through the streets. Imam Ahmad was persecuted for what he believed by the deviant ideologies out there. Today, when we talk about Imam Ahmad, these young lads don't know who Imam Ahmad is. Sad. We want to learn about role model. Go type his name. Go sit with the ulama and say, Imam Sahib, tell me who the great Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal is. Let me learn about him. When he died, they say in the history of Islam, nobody had the largest funeral than Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Hazrat, Imam Ahmad lived 1200 years ago, 1200 years ago from today. Imam Ahmad lived in that time. In that time there were no telephones, there was no telegrams, no Facebook, no social media, nothing. Absolutely no form of communication other than writing letters. One person has passed away. 1 million people have turned up. How did they all turn up? To one man's janaza on one day. And remember, when a person dies, don't delay their burial. Nabi alayhi salam said there's 3-4 things to bear in mind, don't delay. When a Muslim dies, don't delay his burial. When a Muslim gives you salam, don't delay returning the salam. When your daughters are young and they've reached the age to get married, don't delay their marriages. Today, on this point, daughters will get to 18, 19, send them to university, build a career. उतनी पढ़नी है, शादी ना टाइम को भी आ रहे, और क्या शादी करा? इधर पढ़नी है ना, डॉक्टर बननी है, लायर हो जासी, more like liar हो जासी. And then those daughters go into haram relationships and so on and so forth. Why are you delaying that? When your daughters have matured, marry them. My opinion. Why? It will save the fitna out there. They marry. Then they can go and study, work, do whatever they want. They marry. It's halal. It's a big problem today. People are doing too much haram. But no, career, respect, reputation, my daughter, no. We're going to let it. Why? Don't delay in these things. Don't delay the burial. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal's burial was not delayed. That time the ulama, what did they do? There was no coroner's certificate they needed. None of this. They would shroud them and put them. In that moment, can you imagine 1 million people all around the world? Where would they go? Run to Baghdad quickly. The great Imam Ahmad has left the dunya. Imam Ahmad has passed away. We need to attend this funeral. Allahu Akbar. The people had dream after. And in the dream they narrated, Zahabi in Siru A'lam Nubala narrates. One man had a dream and he met Imam Ahmad. And he said, I had a dream and in the highest part of Jannah there was a man sat there and the angels, they were feeding him. Angels from the right and left, they were feeding him. Another man was standing in the middle of Jannah just looking at the throne of Allah. And one man was standing in the door, at the door of Jannah, and he was telling people, you can come in, you can't, you can come in, you can't, you can come in, you can't. He said, the person that was standing or sitting at the arsh of Allah being fed by angels was the great Imam Hanfia. He said, I feed, the angels were feeding me. When you go down, he said, I came down and I seen Ma'buf Tarhi. Yearning to meet Allah, I'm seeing him. And when I got to the door of Jannah, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal was standing there. And Imam Ahmad was saying, you are from the Ahlul Sunnah, enter. You are Ahlul Bidah, go to Jannah. He was telling him who's right and who's wrong. Because Imam Ahmad was at the door of Jannah allowing people to enter. Hazrat, on the day of Qiyamah, the ulama will stand as nations, not as one man. The zumrat of the ulama, there will be one group on the day of judgment that will be standing together, they will just be the scholars. Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad bin Hanbal, Ibn Jawzi, Abdul Qadir Jilani, all the greatest awliya and ulama, they will be there. That will be there. Allah Ta'ala will send people to Jannah. One by one people will enter. When an alim will get to the door, Allah will say, where are you going? Say, Ya Allah, Jannah. No, get back here. You're not going to Jannah. You're not going to Jannah. He says, Ya Allah, why? He said, you're not going because everyone who followed you, you're going to take them with you to Jannah. You're going to take all the people that followed you, who you was Imam of, you will take them to Jannah with you. Where you going on your own? Take the ummah with you there. Hazrat, this is the rank of a man of knowledge. People who learn the deen. This is not the status of barristers, lawyers, solicitors, doctors, pharmacists, medical practitioners. They don't have this maqam. The men who Allah has bestowed ilm with, it is those people Allah will say, now where are you going? Get back and take the people with you to Jannah. You're not going on your own. Allahu Akbar. The rank of ilm, studying Islam and the deen. What's happened today? People are more interested in dunya. People are more interested in building masjids than madrasas. And this is the harsh reality. If we said we're building a madrasa for learning, nobody will give them. I said we're building a masjid for, and people will give money to the masjid. Halaki, once in the masjid, people come read namaz and go. You know, in the madrasa, it's a factory. In that factory, you're training, you're making ulama. It is those ulama who will go out and teach the people of knowledge. Today, we show more respect to not hands than we do to ulama. I'll openly tell you this. I'll give you one simple nukta, not for myself, but I speak for the ulama. If a Naat Khan leaves a shaykh, what do people do? They go and give him money. Why? Because his voice is beautiful. They'll go through money at him. An alim will sit there. He'll tell you what's right and wrong, but your pocket doesn't go there. Why? Why can't we show the same love to the ulama, scholars? This is my point. This mentality has to change now. It has to change. Young brothers and sisters of this generation and the next, the ulama need to be respected. We need to go back to the glory days of Islam when ilm was number one. Not entertainment. In knowledge, people would travel thousands of miles to Bukhara. When Muhaddis traveled to Bukhara, and he traveled thousands of miles from Khurasan. Khurasan is in Iran, Bukhara is there as Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, up there, near Russia. Thousands of miles he's traveled. Every town and city goes to big ulama, big scholars. Men of knowledge who are changing people's lives, guiding people to Islam, showing them what's halal and what is haram. He went there and he arrived at Bukhara and he said, Hazrat Sahib, I've traveled from far away. I've heard of one Imam called Imam Bukhari. I've heard of Imam Bukhari and I want to take hadith from him. They said Imam Bukhari is a busy man, he's working hard. What is it that you need? He says, I've come to collect the hadith. This man came, said, Imam Bukhari lives there, go speak to him. Remember, Bukhari is one of the greatest imams in hadith. Strictest imams in hadith. People love Bukhari for his word. This Imam Bukhari, rahmatullah alayh, Allahu Akbar, was there doing his work. This man came, he spat. When he spat, he said, Huzur, give me a hadith. He said, you think I'm going to give you a hadith who spits from the same mouth that you're going to talk about Rasulullah? He says, you can't have no hadith from me. Once Imam Bukhari traveled from Bukhara to Oman. So I heard there's a great muhaddis there. Imam Bukhari arrived there. That muhaddis was a farmer by profession. His professional job was farming, but he was a man of hadith. What was he doing? Beating his animal, hitting his animal. Imam Bukhari went, seen, came back. On the way, the same guy who told him where the person was, asked him, said, Bukhari, you come all the way, what happened? He said, I don't take hadith from people who abuse animals. I don't take hadith from these people. These people travel thousands of miles to seek knowledge, and we can't walk down the road to seek knowledge. How sad. How sad. Thousands of miles, and those days they didn't have no airplanes, no helicopters, no trains, no cars. They would walk to seek knowledge. Today, Hazrat, knowledge has come to me and you, yet we still don't take it. Why? When entertainment comes, not people will go throw money at them. You won't even understand the word he said. Why? As a token of appreciation, you give him money, don't you? You appreciate what he's reading, that's why they give money to them. So why can't you appreciate the man who's telling you what's halal and haram? Doesn't he deserve more appreciation? Today, ulama disregarded. In Imam Ahmad's time, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Bukhari's time, they were the biggest superstars of their time. The world would flock to these people. These people would run at these people and say, I want to sit with this man. I want to know what this man has got. But these were people, when people came to them, they went and they were different people changed. Why? Knowledge. Ilm. Allah said, read. Allam al-Quran, He taught the Quran to the Prophet. Knowledge, ilm. هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون? How can you compare the man who has knowledge to the one who has no knowledge? How can you compare the two? Today we walk around these entertainers. We give them utmost respect, kiss their hands. How do you know they read namaz? How do you know they don't even have the lihya, the sunnah of Rasulullah on their faces? When we show them respect. An alim will walk in. If a Nath Khan walks in, everyone will stand up and welcome and greet him. When the Qurra and the ulama walk in, nobody will stand up for them. Why? If there's anyone who we deserve to be stood up for, it's the ulama. It's the ulama. Innal ulama warathatul anbiya. It's the scholars who are the inheritors of the prophets. And what do they inherit? Nabi Islam said they don't inherit dirham or dinar. They don't inherit money. You see, when we die, what do we leave behind? Inheritance. What is our inheritance? Jadad, mal, dolat, money, houses, bungalows. I sign this off to my children, divide it amongst them. Yes or no? The Anbiya, what did they do? Nabi Islam said we didn't leave no dirham or no dinar. We didn't leave no dirham or no dinar for these people. The prophets left knowledge for the people. They left knowledge. They said drink from the ocean of knowledge of the prophets. The ulama would sit there and drink them. They took time out and learned. They began to study halal and haram, right and wrong. They emphasized this. Today nobody gives emphasis to knowledge. Nobody. Build big masjids. Nobody reads namaz in them. It's not reality. Big masjid for no youngsters here. Why? True or not true? Jummah time, then the youngsters will come in last moment. Why? Because they're fed up. Young people are fed up of the way the system is today. That's the reality. And when they're fed up that they don't have English-speaking imams, young imams who can relate to them, and I'm not talking about myself, then what happens? They run away from the mosque. They say, I ain't going there, man. Stop all the Buddha Ganai. सियासी गल हो रही है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. There's no knowledge. No knowledge. It is ilm that is the key. Ilm is the key to that intention. Intention is the key to that wudu. Wudu is the key to that prayer, and that prayer is the key to Jannah. That's the key. Because we have all of the types of keys in our pockets. Where are those keys gone? Where are those keys? And remember, you will never reach the end of the ocean of knowledge. فوق كل ذي علم عليم. Over every knowledgeable person, Allah has somebody who has more knowledge. Somebody more that knows. Ilm is the key, knowledge. This thug life mentality, gangster mentality, the state of our sisters, brothers at home, TV, dramas, all of these things that we talk about. Because it's a lack of ignorance. It's a lack of knowledge, and it's due to excessive ignorance. Lack of knowledge, no knowledge, nobody wants to learn about these things. Nobody wants to learn about these things. Inshallah, I'm going to conclude here. After Salatul Maghrib, we will continue, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد.
I was talking about the importance of knowledge, and I illustrated before yourselves great examples of great men of knowledge who have come from the past, they were examples for me and you to follow. Men who changed the course of the direction the world was moving in. When Islam was in its glory days, Europe at that time was in its dark ages. And what's the funniest point is this, and a point to ponder and think over is this, that when we go to school and we do history lessons, what do they teach us? Europe in the dark ages. That was the Anglo-Saxons, the Victorians, so on and so forth. At that time in the world, in the Arab world, the Far East, there was no darkness but light. Before the civilization and the movement of Islam began, the world was running under the mentality of the Greek philosophers. The great Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, Galen, those of you who study psychology, and these will know. These were Greek philosophers, masters of philosophy, psychology, came about with their own ideologies of how the world is running, what is good for the world. The Greek philosophy came to Europe, but first stopped off in Arabia. It was the Arabs, who translated the work of the Greek philosophers into the Arabic language, and then later it was translated into the Latin language, and then from there into English. A lot of the Islamic literature and knowledge started in Makkah Mukarramah, Medina Munawwara. As the Muslims spread, it spread into Muslim lands. Baghdad, today look at the state of Baghdad. Baghdad, Kufa, Basra, Damascus. These great cities of the Muslim world, today in the news, what do you see happening there? Civil wars, bloodshed, lack of knowledge. It spread from there to Fez. You see, in Fez there is a university called Jamia. This Jamia and university was built by a woman. That woman's name was Fatima al-Fihri. A woman built this university. She had a vision. This is the first Islamic university in the entire history of Islam. And it's specifically built. That was specifically built as a university campus, university in Morocco first, Jami'atul Karmiyin, the first. After that, Jami'atul Azhar in Cairo, Egypt, that was built. Famous university, rich history of 1,000 years old. Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti is a product of Jami'atul Azhar. Imam Suyuti graduated from there. Great ulama. Scholars have gone through this system. These universities were established. These universities were made. The very same lands that they were made is in turmoil. Fitnas have entered there. Why? Because knowledge has been taken out of them. And I'm not saying that there are no ulama there, there are great ulama in those cities still. But the people have stopped learning. The ulama are still there. The scholars are still there, but people have stopped learning. People don't want to learn about the deen. People don't want to learn about what Islam has to say. We know more about the dunya, its libas, its clothing, the cars, everything that we know about the deen. And it's a fact and reality. It is a sad reality in Spain, prior to the Crusades taking over and conquering Spain, when Islam was in Spain, some of the greatest scholars in Spain, Imam al-Qurtubi, Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah of Cordoba, Imam al-Andalusi of where? Andalusia. Go to Spain, book your tickets now, go to Cordoba, and there are masjids still there from that time. Today Spain is not a Muslim country. This is where Islam has spread to as far. As far as China, people travel there to seek knowledge. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded us to seek knowledge. Talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli Muslim. Seeking knowledge is fard on every single Muslim. To seek knowledge. How many of us are actually seeking knowledge? How many of us can take 1 hour, 2 hours in a week to go and sit with a local scholar, proper scholar, man of knowledge, and say, Imam Sahib, teach me. Earlier I was reading namaz downstairs Maghrib. This is sad. I had missed 2 rakats as I was doing wudu and freshening up. The brothers next to me, they had joined just before I had joined. Imam Sahib said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, he did salam. Imam Sahib said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, he did salam. There was, I think, 9-10 of us who had missed 2 units of prayer, 1 unit. They did salam, they didn't stand up to carry on. Why? Because nobody's taught them what to do if you miss a rakat. And how many people know here that if you miss a unit of prayer, 3 units of fard, you miss a unit of prayer, what do? Don't know. You just do salam with the imam. You've got to pray 3 units, not 1. You've joined 1 with the imam. Where's the true 1? They didn't know. Ultimately, I sat there and I realized he didn't know. Maybe he went to madrasa, they didn't teach him. He left there very early, he didn't know. What do you do then? You miss. That's fard. You're reading namaz before Allah, you don't know what to do. This is why every single one of us needs to learn about the necessities of our life. What is important? Otherwise, everything is going to waste. Knowledge is the key. Without knowledge, how can you get anywhere? And this is why if some classes are joined, what can people do? Classes are joined, what can people do at that moment in time? Bear in mind this collection that's being done, it's being done for the funeral services. This is not a youth collection. Youth collection will be done outside at the gates and at the doors. Those who want to donate towards the funeral services, donate towards them, they're coming around. And those of you who want to donate towards the youth projects that we're doing for the youth, then by all means you can donate towards that. The brothers outside will have boxes ready, the sisters as well. I hope the sister side is done, will be arranged that if it hasn't been done. So please keep that in mind. Seeking knowledge is fun. We don't know if our dad dies, our mother dies, what do you do with the dead body when they die? Okay, they died in a hospital. Coroner is going to give the report, you have to go to him. The doctors have got to give the, what do you call it? Post-mortem will be done, death certificate, all that. Everything's written there. Bodies come back to you now, what do? You ring Imam Sahib. Imam Sahib, what do I do now? Sad, but it's true. Bro, you're on the deen, you tell me what do I do? My dad's died now. Oh, I don't know how to wash his body. All his life he washed your body, now you don't know how to wash his. What do you do then? Tell me. This is my knowledge. Islam told us and has taught us. The Prophet ﷺ came to teach us when somebody dies, you perform their ghusl, you put kafan on them, you carry them to the grave, you perform janazah over them, you bury them in the grave. You throw 3 handfuls of soil, with each handful you read a dua, you read a verse of the Quran. You make dua at the graveside for their mercy and forgiveness. All these things, but doesn't know. Why? Lack of knowledge. Because there's no knowledge there. Many of our parents came from Pakistan. Those who are from knowledgeable backgrounds of knowledge, Islamic knowledge, they are fine. Many of us sitting here, our parents don't have Islamic knowledge background. When you go to university and you follow a certain way, they say you follow the way of your father and grandfather, they didn't know, you just follow them. Blind followers. So how do you justify them? What do you say? That it's a fair argument. You are blindly following the deen. Now tell me, what do? You want to learn? You learn the deen. You learn the Quran and Sunnah. You learn what Islam has to say. But if you don't have that in place, what's going to happen? If you don't go learning the deen, from where will you seek this deen and knowledge? Brothers and sisters, Ramadan is around the corner. Couple of weeks away. Ramadan is there. Tell me, if there's any better time to change than Ramadan. That's the time. And if there's any better time to seek knowledge than in Ramadan. Because the young lads who are sat here, they are off school. 6-week holidays coming up. Those who are working will take time off Ramadan. But evenings, you don't eat till 9:30 because you're fasting. So 1 hour in the way of Allah to seek knowledge. Sort your namaz out, your pronunciation out, ghusl masail, Juma masail, wudu masail. Why can't we take 1 hour out? If that class was set up, how many would turn up? And it's free. No charge. Free. How many would turn up to learn? You see, saying I'll turn up and then having the willpower to get out and go there. It's a big thing, man. It's a commitment. Just as going to the burger shop is a commitment for your food, for your stomach. Just as shisha lounge is a commitment for your pleasure. This is a big commitment to seek the knowledge, but nobody wants to do it, man. And if people do want to do it, what's there for them? There are many centers that are teaching in Bradford, many centers. Many places, many scholars are teaching. People are not going to them. People don't want to sit there, time consuming. I'm going to go and sit with this guy. We need to have the willpower to learn about this deen. When you have knowledge and you are governed by the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah, I guarantee you in this masjid, problems will be removed from your life. What you deem as a problem isn't a problem in reality. It's just a lack of knowledge and belief. If you've got to have that knowledge and belief, then that's not going to be there. Hazrat, Ramadan is coming. What are we going to do? 40 days before or 10 days before, 40 days, that's it. No school, no weed, no Buddha. None of this. Ramadan comes, I'm a changed man. What, do you want people to say you've changed for Ramadan and after they say, that's Ramadan, is Ramadan, what's any problem? True or not true? It was namaz, Ramadan, then it's parda. Ramadan to baad koi namaz nahi padta, koi, bas. Why? Why? Why can't we make a permanent change in Ramadan? The Ramadan is a time to change. I changed in Ramadan. In this masjid in Ramadan. 8 Ramadans ago. My change was in these corners. Up there. It came about. Ramadan is the best time for me and you to change. Best time. It's the time when you can change for the sake of Allah Almighty. Strengthen yourself. Become stronger. Go out and be strong to fight what's out there. Ramadan is coming as a blessing for me and you. We live another year to see Ramadan, inshaAllah. You might die before a couple of days, you never know. Ramadan, you see, don't let it be another Ramadan where it's come and gone and you're still the same. Decades of Ramadans have passed and it's still the same. Nothing's changed. Decades have gone. And nobody, what's happened? Nothing happening, people are still the same. People aren't changing. Ramadan doesn't have a problem. There's no problems with Ramadan because Allah Ta'ala said in Ramadan, Nabi Salam said Ramadan, all the doors of my mercy are open. Every door of Jahannam is closed. Shaitan is chained up, so what excuse do you have? That's why Nabi Salam, when they stood on the minbar, they said Ameen. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, why did you say Ameen? You stood on the minbar first time you heard this. It was different, unique. Ya Rasulullah, why did you say Ameen? I said Ameen, why? For this reason. That if Ramadan comes, Jibreel came and told me, Ramadan comes, the person hasn't managed to get his sins forgiven. I said Ameen, because Jibreel said that person is going to Jahannam. He couldn't change in Ramadan. Best time to change, why? No influences. Best time to change. Around the corner, don't let it be a fast where, I stay away from food and drink. Don't make small excuse, Imam said, I'm bleeding. Does that mean I can't fast tomorrow? I'm bleeding. I can't fast tomorrow. You fast with your stomach, not with your fingers. You fast with your stomach, not your fingers. Small excuses, any excuse today. Young people are looking, I don't want to fast. I've got asthma problems. Find on you, you're making petty excuses not to fast. Small, I smoke too much, I can't do it. Can't do it. For those who smoke shisha, it's a big test for you now. Big test to see what Ramadan will give you. Can you stay away from that pipe? This is the time for smokers to change their habits. Alcoholics to stop their bad habits. A time for those who listen to music to stop listening to music. Replace, sadly, it has to be said, put the Quran there. Listen to the Quran in Ramadan. 1 month, listen to the Quran. Make it hardly. I'm going to finish one Quran in this book. If not one Quran I'll finish, I'll listen to one Quran in this book. How many? This is the time for me and you to change. The time to bring about a change in our own lives. Don't let it be a case of in Ramadan you watch all the Islamic channels and outside of Ramadan back to Bollywood and B4Us and ZTVs and MTVs and whatnot else. Time for sisters in Ramadan to change. Don't let it be a case for the sisters where your sister wears a hijab in Ramadan, outside of Ramadan no hijab. In Ramadan the abaya comes on, outside Ramadan there's no abaya. Don't let it be like this. If you make a change, make a permanent change. From your heart. For the sake of Allah. And bring this change and make this near, Ya Allah, I want to seek this knowledge. I want to learn the deen. I want to learn about Islam. I want to learn about what Allah has to tell and say. What the Quran has to say. is very important for me and you that we learn about the deen, learn about Islam, study about Islam. It is this knowledge that will take us to life. This knowledge. Until we don't seek this knowledge and we don't know, we will remain ignorant. And the longer we remain ignorant, the longer we go further, the further we go from the deen. Make this intention to seek knowledge. 1 hour in the week, give to the way of Allah to seek knowledge. 2 hours, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right now in Bradford, there is not a single place that I teach. I speak at places, this masjid, that masjid, whatever. Friday Gola started monthly classes there, monthly talks, not even classes. Once a month I go there. And Mustafa Center, once a month I go there. Hanfia Masjid, every 2-3 months I do it, our own event here. But there's nowhere in Bradford that I teach. I don't teach no sarf, nahab, Arabic grammar, no hadith, no fiqh, tafsir, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I want to teach here. I'll teach brothers and sisters, I'll teach on the street if I have to. You just need people to teach. You can't teach Jinnat or not Bishar Hafi. And the Bishar Hafi used to teach the jinns. When they passed away, they took their funeral, they passed that house, they were coming back and they could hear people crying in there. They looked inside and the neighbor said, he used to sit at night and teach the Jinnat about the deen. And the students that were jinns, they were crying because they lost their teacher. You need students, people who want to learn. Who would want to learn? I'm starting a class every 2 weeks in Rochdale. Every 2 weeks. Brothers and sisters, come. Aqidah, fiqh and seerah are the 3 subjects that I'll cover. And it's basics. No deep level stuff. Absolute basics that you learn. You know what's right and wrong. You study it and you learn about your namaz, your wudu, hajj, zakat, rawda, fard. Fara'id of the deen, Aqidah, Tawheed, Risalah, all the issues relating to that. Tawheed and Risalah. And Seerah, the life of Rasulullah from the day they were born to the day they left this world. This is why it is important that we seek this knowledge. Inshallah, I hope in Ramadan, I begin a classroom where if a class is starting, you will see posters everywhere, inshallah. But I begin a class in Ramadan where people can come in, sit and learn. It is important for us to do this, to come and learn the deen. And the best thing is priceless. You pay tuition fees for tutors to come and to teach your children outside of school hours. £20 an hour, £25 an hour. You give money there, but you won't give money to a madrasa so that it's built. You won't give money towards a teacher to teach your children your deen. It's sad, isn't it? £9,000 you pay in tuition fees in universities. £3,000 you can't spend your time in Jamia al-Karam to learn about the deen. Only £3,000, not even 9 grand. Sad, but it's the reality. And what's the best thing? What we hear is free. You walk in sick, you bring a pen and paper, you write down, you learn, you ask questions, you go and act upon it. Learn. Knowledge is the key. This is the aim of my full life talk. I didn't want to talk about thugs. Ask the brothers. I said, give me themes. I said, knowledge is the theme for this one. But I'll draw people in with the thug life title. And people have walked off probably because they didn't hear no role, no danger. They didn't hear none of that. I've said this many times before. Why do I talk about thug life and gangster life and bad boys and all these things? To bring the people in. So they know somebody's talking. The real knowledge is this talk that I went today. To inspire people to change and learn the deen. People say, oh Imam sir, you go to, phones aside, you go to, you do big talks about thugs and gangsters in mosques. How can you do it in mosques? It's disrespectful. If you can bring this many people to me under Imam Abu Hanifa's name, then I'll do it. Otherwise, this is just one tactic to bring people in. And what's the best thing about it? Allah sends the people. People have come, they've sat here, they're listening. We need to bring people in attractive ways, use wisdom to bring them in. I'm not talking about haram, I'm not swearing, I'm not doing anything disrespectful in the masjid. It's the deen. And it's work, does it not work, yes or no? 2 events you've seen, look, top to bottom packed. Sister side, I don't know how much, but it must be packed. Why? Took life was the draw, knowledge is what you go back with. And it's not about Tug life. Tug life is not the life we need. We need a knowledgeable, pious life. A life of piety, taqwa. A life of knowledge, seeking ilm. What do you think people like Qari, Rizwan, the ulama who are alive, they spend 6, 7, 8 years in madrasas for no reason? They spend to learn to go back to the communities and spread. To spread this. Alhamdulillah, we've had the honor today that we've sat and we've learned and we've listened. The aim of this speech was today to inspire you to go away and think that I need to learn about my deen. I'm so far from my deen and I'll get closer when I've learned about my deen. The more you learn, the closer you get to Allah. But remember, and the final point I'll make, Shaitan had a lot of knowledge. He had a lot of knowledge. But why did Shaitan get destroyed? Because that knowledge was mixed with arrogance. When that knowledge, you seek knowledge and makes you arrogant, then you destroy it. You become Shaitan. That knowledge, with that arrogance, it destroys you. Knowledge's aim is to keep you humble. The aim of knowledge is to make you a banda of Allah, a man of Allah, a slave of Allah. That's the aim of knowledge. To enslave you to Allah Almighty more and more. And in that slavery to Allah, that's not slavery, in essence, it's freedom. It's freedom. You're free when you're slaves of Allah. Because Allah gives you everything. So when you have everything, then what kind of slave? You're not being imprisoned, you've got freedom. Shaitan had a lot of knowledge. His knowledge didn't get him nowhere. Find the right scholars, read the right books, study from the right institutes. Those who are on haqq, Ahlul Sunnah, study from these people. Find them. When you get together and you seek this knowledge and bring it together, and you become a student of knowledge. And Nabi alayhi salam said, what is the rank of a student of knowledge? Allah Ta'ala commands the angels, go place your wings under their feet. As long as they are out in the way of Allah until they return, Allah Almighty says, if they die in this state of seeking knowledge, then they have died the death of a martyr. Knowledge, the power of knowledge. Hazrat, I'm not asking a lot from you. I know you have busy lives, university, work, families. But 1-2 hours in a week just to learn about your deen. That 1-2 hours is invaluable. And I guarantee you, if you truly taste the sweetness of knowledge, 1-2 hours will extend you somewhere like more now. Give more time, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Before you know it, you might become a full-time student. Why? Because you're enjoying it. It tastes nice. People go back to the same restaurant and they find nice food there, right menu. They go back to the same scholar because he gives more knowledge, the same. Tastes nice. So find these ulama, sit with these people. Make dua, inshallah, very soon we start a class where I can begin teaching in Bradford. And I don't have to go to other towns and people will come here. That's my aim, to clean my own town. I outlined it last time. That is our vision. To do it for Bradford, to make Bradford a better place for our younger brothers and sisters. So that they may grow up in a good environment. And that we set up centers of knowledge where people can come in and study and enjoy the deen and enjoy learning about the deen as well. Inshallah, I will conclude my speech here. I make dua that Allah blesses each and every one with His knowledge, and knowledge that will be beneficial for us in this dunya and the akhirah. Allah increases this knowledge. Wa da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. والله Almighty, for the Rasul of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, all the brothers and sisters who have attended here today, Allah bless each and every one of them. Anyone who is ill in their families, Allah Almighty cure them from all the illnesses. Allah Almighty, any neck du'as these brothers and sisters have, accept their neck du'as and hajat. Allah Ta'ala, every step they have taken to come and seek knowledge here, Allah Almighty multiply this 100 times for them in the akhirah. Allah Almighty, wasila Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, open our hearts to seek the knowledge of the deen, knowledge of your sifat, your attributes, Allah Almighty, knowledge of Rasulullah sallallahu, the seerah, take Allah Almighty what is important and necessary for us. Allah Almighty, wasila Rasulullah sallallahu, forgive us all for our saghira and kabira guna. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayr khalqihi, Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, bi rahmatika ya
صلى الله على خير سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين برحمتك يا